This is the Big Knick Energy Podcast.
And welcome to another edition of the Big Knick Energy Podcast. I was told to show my teeth, so here they are. First off, check out our sponsor, Empire Original Designs at jointheempire.com, the East Coast #1 challenge coin manufacturer, home of challenge coins, lapels, pins, patches, keychains, bottle openers, and more. Mention our podcast, Big Knick Energy, via email for 5% off purchases. Once again, that's at jointheempire.com. I'm your host, Joe Yoke, the Bald Kid Wonder. That's General Commander Burt, my co-host, the almighty mustache himself, grown out the great, almost, I forgot the name of it for some reason. What type of hair do you have? A mullet. You almost have a mullet. That's going. It. There we go. Burt, you're going to be Slicer the rest of the podcast. How you doing, Slicer?
Slicer is feeling good. My anxiety is coming back down to earth.
I like how I told you guys I wanted to do this podcast at 4:40 because I thought the trade deadline was at 4 because I was looking at an entirely wrong time zone. So thanks for adjusting.
We are adjusted, and this trade deadline was killer. All
right, so the big move the Knicks made. We got Cam Reddish and his second round pick for Kevin Knox and protected first. Oh, that happened 2 weeks ago. Never mind.
I'm with it, though. God. I'm okay with that being our one move. Like, I know a lot of people are upset that they wanted more major moves because we're just not playing well, whatever, but I don't care. I'm seeing the vision. For once, we are actually doing something and just sticking to it.
There is a long-term plan, I feel like, with Leon Rose and the team he has, Scott Perry, Worldwide West, and all of them, Johnny Bryant. He's a coach, technically, but whatever. The team they have in the front office that actually shows like, hey, we have this idea. I'm going to actually try to use my idea that I have, build up slowly. We have a couple guys that are real pieces. RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. We gave tips Derrick Rose.
Couple guys now.
Yeah, we have quite a few pieces. They unfortunately currently have us on the 12th seed and losing way more games than we're winning. But they didn't overreact the way I think we would have in past years, which
exactly.
I know you and I feel that way.
Bro, I was so nervous. Like 3 o'clock could not come soon enough. I didn't even waited. I waited 10 minutes to even call it. 'Cause I'm like, I know sometimes the trade comes in late and I'm not going to get caught off guard. So I even waited. I'm like, okay, 3:15, it was safe, ready to go. I was like, man, I can't believe it. They didn't pull the trigger on something crazy.
Yeah. And the crazy thing that was going around after Dragic got traded, there are so many dudes that we supposedly wanted that either didn't move or just were gone by the wayside. The one that seemed like it was closest was Dragic in a 3-teamer, but he got traded away.
How about that Porzingis trade? Ooh,
we'll talk about that in a little bit. But how close do you think they actually were to getting like Russell Westbrook or someone else? That's a deal for the sake of a deal, not to actually benefit your team at all. I'm really glad we didn't actually do that or anything like that.
That would have been another like favor trade, for the Lakers to like do them a favor. And we don't need another favor from them.
No shot. LeBron James has had enough favors in his career.
Yeah. So let him suffer with Westbrook. Have fun for the rest of the season.
Yeah. You chose this man. He's on your team.
Yep,
it does suck that we didn't get rid of Burks for 2 reasons. One, he seems like the guy that had the most value in the open market from an actual person that we wanted to trade standpoint, because it was just Burks, Fournier, and Kemba, and Noel to a lesser degree. I think Noel has actually played himself to being untradeable. He's trash. It's amazing that his hands have gotten worse and worse in his mid-20s, as opposed to better and better. But between Kemba, Burks, and Noel, and Fournier, just Burks had the most value. And I wish we got rid of him because 1, he would have got a good return. And 2, and more importantly, as a fan, it would have freed up minutes from other guys that we want to see play. I'm not high on Cam Reddish. I don't know why people are high on Cam Reddish. I'll keep saying that. And I want people to come at me for it. I'm all for it. I'll throw facts and numbers at you. They're not in your favor, but we want to see him play. We traded for the guy. We want to get McBride in there, for the love of God. This man, at this point, I feel like McBride would be a better thing than what IQ's been giving us for the past 3 weeks. Am I wrong?
Maybe. No, I think you're right. I mean, IQ's been not great the last couple weeks. I don't want to say a month, but he's not been good. His decision making, when he does decide to shoot, it's weird because normally I find he's a really quick to shoot type of guy.
Yeah.
And he just kind of hasn't been. And it's almost that hesitation of facilitating, playing the point guard, and then going for my own shot. He kind of gets like caught up in. So yeah, he's not.
You know how they say that the game slows down for players at certain points in their career?
Yeah, I mean,
I think IQ last year it wasn't slowed down yet, but he was just like, I'm out here to shoot. I'm just going to shoot and see what happens. When the game is that simplistic for you, it is a much easier, like, I don't need the game to slow down because I only have one job. He really focused on trying to be a point guard. He like did it at summer league. He's really trying to be a facilitator, and the game isn't slow enough for him yet to actually process facilitating versus getting his own shot. And now his game's deteriorated this year because of it.
Really good observation, Joe. That was right nail on the head. Perfect. Because he didn't need to. I mean, the game was never, it was always fast to him, but he's a fast player. So he just flowed into it. And now he's got to control the pace. He's got to be the guy to set up the offense. And he's struggling. Yeah, I think that's perfect, Joe. Really, like, I think he can get better, though. And clearly the front office does too. We stuck with him. So
he's super young. It's his second year. He's the second year in the NBA.
Yeah,
guys don't reach their peaks until they're like 28, 29, and got like fans want to get rid of players or get off players when they're like 20, 21. Unless you're competing for a title, like I don't want to talk about the James Harden trade too much, but it's like unless you're trading for a guy that gets you into title contention, you don't want to get rid of young players and you don't want to get rid of first round picks, right? So it's like everyone's like, oh my God, our players are doing bad, like this and that. It's like, we want to get rid of something for now. Like no player on the open market was going to get the Knicks into a top 5 seed in the East or compete for a championship. So let guys figure it out.
Exactly. I agree, Joe. I agree. But like you said, though, look at even Sixers didn't even give up Maxey. They didn't give up anybody really that young. They gave up a guy who wants to not be there. And who is the other one? I can't remember.
It was Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 firsts.
Those are all older guys. I mean, they got
Harden and Paul Millsap.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Paul Millsap's actually gonna. Is Paul Millsap even in, or is he injured right now?
I think he's injured. But either way, I was surprised. I mean, it was a throw-in center, Seth Curry the shooter, and Simmons who didn't want to be there. So I think they did a really good job with the trade. But like you said, it's like, I think everybody was calling and they wanted our young guys. And we're just, we'd rather see them in 1 or 2 more years and see what they do. Not, we're not ready to trade them yet. The only guy we were ready to trade out of our young guys was Knox.
Yeah. And we got rid of him a couple of weeks ago.
Now we got Reddish, who I think has a bigger upside.
I wanted to ask you about that because we have basically the last time we talked was right as we got Reddish.
Right.
Because I went to Denver and then just got back. Which we will talk about. But since we've had Reddish for a couple weeks, how do you feel? Because Knox was getting 4 minutes a game for us, and Reddish is getting like 6 or 7. So it's like, what do you see there? What is happening with that?
Listen, I know what the fans want. The fans want to see Reddish, but I don't really care.
Listen to Knicks Twitter, they do, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't care. Reddish will get minutes when he deserves minutes, where he fits. Tibbs is not just going to put any old person in the lineup. And they're saying, oh, why would you trade for somebody if you're not going to play him? Because he has a higher upside than the guy we traded for. Kevin Knox, we knew exactly what he was going to do. We know his ceiling. And that's fine for a team like Atlanta, who needs a shooter who's relatively tall, who has been playing a little better defense. Okay. But Reddish is like, I think a little worse on defense than Kevin Knox, which is crazy to say because.
Did you see the thing that was on Twitter that Reddish is the second best on-ball defender for like his like bracket, but everything else, it was out of 51 people.
Wow.
He was second for on-ball defense and 30th or worst for 7 other metrics. And you play on-ball defense during a possession at on average 2 to 3 seconds.
At his position,
which means he's being bad at 21 seconds of defense. Even if you take out the 8 seconds takes from them to get over the court, he's not doing well for 13 out of 16 seconds on defense.
Yeah, that's not great. I was going to say even his on-ball defense is worse than Kevin Knox, but if the
it's ranked really high.
Yeah,
he gets burned on off stuff.
Yeah. So if the statistics are showing he's good, that's his best attribute is his on-ball defense. Yeah, that's not a good reason to play the guy. So I think his ceiling is still higher than Kevin Knox. I think he has the potential to be a really good piece because he's tall. He's got fast feet. He just doesn't put him in the right spot.
Yeah.
And it's like he can be a good shooter. He just takes really inefficient shots. So if you can actually get this guy to be a corner 3-point shooter and, a close to the rim finisher.
You know who Cam Reddish needs as a coach?
I mean,
Mike
listen,
D'Antoni.
shoot
a 3 or shoot a layup. And if you shoot anywhere in between, I'm taking you out of the game.
Exactly. And it's so people like to point at Kemba Walker getting benched, in November or whatever, as a sign that Thibodaux, can go against his veterans and can, run a tight rotation and punish people for not performing within his parameters. So I think for Reddish, it would be a really good thing to see if by the end of the year, if he is getting more minutes. I think that'd be really telling to know like what we're going forward, into the off season. Otherwise, I got little faith in him. So if he's getting 10 minutes right now, 12 minutes right now, by the end of the year, I want to see at least 20, but that's on Reddish. That's not on Thibodaux. That's on Reddish. If he's going to play defense, shoot efficiently, and actually buy into the system, as they say, which is, defense first. And I would like to think a fast pace, especially
I would say, not to totally counteract you, but a very, very tiny bit would be on Thibodaux. And that on the games that Burks isn't having it, let's put it this way, Burks or Fournier, every game, one of them is off. I've watched them play 50 games together at this point. The two of them are never on at the same time. So if he never gets those minutes, and I understand Quentin Grimes has earned those minutes and is definitely next man up. But if Reddish can't eat into that 48 at all, I think it's on him in practice more so than it's on Tibbs or anyone else for not putting him in.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the one thing I would say against Thibodaux is that he doesn't recognize when guys are off, and he will just keep going to them. Like you said, Burks or Fournier have never really been on together, right? So how quick are we taking Burks out and putting Fournier in? How quick are we taking both of them out and putting Reddish or Grimes or somebody else in? So I think that's maybe my biggest problem with Thibodaux. But as far as actual rotations and minutes of players, if you look historically at every championship team for a long time, their rotations are 8 or 9 guys and their starters are getting 30 plus every game. That's just the way the game is run. That's the way the game is run. You need 5 guys who can play at least 40 minutes. I know it's insane to say that, but it's true. I mean, if you can't play your main scorers, your main pieces for 40 minutes, you're not going to be able to win. So those tight rotations don't really bother me because that's just the way the NBA is played.
I agree with that. To use that as circumvent to the next topic, though, the RJ injury the other night.
Yeah.
It really hurts because there's no reason for him to be out there. I mean, I understand what he said post game that we cut it to it was 15 points with 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah,
that's not a
13,
game,
but
yeah, when it was 15 points with 2 minutes left, that's literally when me and Shannon left the arena. I didn't actually even see the RJ injury until afterwards, which is the worst.
It was
part.
rough. It was rough because I've heard some people say, he could roll his ankle at any time in the game. Okay. And I'm like, all right, that's true, but he didn't. He rolled it at the end of the game in a blowout.
The more minutes you play, the more likely you are to get hurt. You are right. You can get hurt Julius Randle got hurt the 5th minute of his career.
Nope. Stop that.
No. I'm saying I'm to the point of oh my God, you can get hurt at any point. Julius Randle got hurt the 5th minute of his career. I'm on your side. But the odds of you getting hurt in the 5th minute of your career are really fucking low. The odds of you getting hurt playing the 48th minute of a blowout when the other team already has their secondary guys in, which means they're not even as used to playing in NBA games as much, and they're more likely to make mistakes, and they're more likely to have their foot under your foot when you take a shot, is significantly higher. So therefore, if the team that's winning, if either team takes their starters out, 99% of the time you should take your starters out. 99% of the time. It's not the playoffs. It's the middle of the fucking year. You're on a losing 9 out of 11 game streak. It just, Like the fact that I, as a Knicks fan at an opposing arena, had left the game indicates to you the game was over. Don't do that.
Listen, I know. I'm just gonna I'll just interject some positivity because I think it's overwhelming that yes, and I do agree that yes, it was. I think that's a mistake to keep him in the game that long. But to flip it just a little bit, to say Thibodaux never gives up, even when he's down 15 with 2 minutes left. All right, he doesn't give up, and RJ for that matter too. He's tired. He's been playing all game, and he's still out there, contesting shots. So I don't know. It wasn't a big injury. I think he's missing tonight, but I think he'll be playing Saturday. So
if he misses 2 games in the middle of the season, and he almost never misses games at the end of the year, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. It is what it is. But it's not the end of the world. He's 21 years old. It's not like he tore an Achilles or anything crazy.
Yeah, imagine. Oh my gosh, stop. Knock on wood.
Yeah, no, I got it right here.
So yeah.
Also, I feel super amateur hour right now. I forgot to turn on my ring light, and it's getting dark, and I have to turn it on, and Vin is gonna hate me.
Go ahead, have fun.
Just get it done with.
Pausing for technical difficulty.
No pause.
Don't even pause it. Just let it go. Yeah, no, this is real life.
This is it, guys.
This is real life right here.
This is it.
All right, so listen, Joe, let's swing this back to Colorado. You were out there.
I just slammed my foot. I just slammed my foot. I have a fucking stress fracture on the side of this bed, on the side of this table too. Ow. Amateur hour. Oh my God. Damn it. I'm good. What were you saying? I don't know.
Here. Listen, bro. So you went to Colorado. You had a good time. You got to see the Knicks in Colorado. I've never done that. I've seen the Knicks in some arenas, but never Colorado. So tell me about the experience.
It was dope. So it's really cool. If you've never been to Colorado, or I was in Denver, but Colorado as a whole, we drove up to Loveland over to Boulder.
They had snow on the ground.
They had snow. It was when we took off from LaGuardia, it was 24 degrees. And when we landed in Denver, it was 25 degrees. Yeah. Ooh. So it was the same. The cool thing is 2 of the days while we were there, though, it actually got up to 50. So it was warmer than here for the rest of the time. So there was snow. It melted, though. Really cool experience. To stick with the Knicks and basketball as a whole, though, I want to say that being from New York, seeing New York teams, I've been to Boston before. I've seen Boston sporting events, and then I've never been to a Philly sporting event, but I know enough people that cheer for Philly teams, and I've been to Philly before. There is major negativity amongst Northeast Coast team fan bases that is non-existent on other teams. And I get the Nuggets have Nikola Jokic. They have a top 5 player. They compete. They've been competing for the playoffs for the past 4 or 5 years. So they have a little more reason to be naturally upbeat, but they're welcoming to opposing team fans and stuff like that. They're the guy was asking me.
They know they're going to win too. So it's a little
right. Easier. Exactly. I did unfortunately bet on the Nuggets, and as a Knicks fan, that hurts me to say the Knicks. Dude, I posted this the other day. The Knicks haven't won in Denver since Jamal Crawford was our leading scorer in 2006.
You were at the game, so you didn't see this, but on the live broadcast, they actually played that game winner.
Oh my God.
It was such a Knicks game winner too, because Crawford actually threw the ball away.
Yeah.
And then was able to steal it back and hit the 3. So it's such a blunder win. It's just so Knicks. So of course the last win we had there, it was just this ridiculous.
Do you want me to really take you back? Do you know who else was in the starting lineup?
Back then, Nate Robinson was. Who else?
He was on the bench. Stephon Marbury was our starting point guard. You know the leading scorer for Denver was that game?
You said the leading only
Carmelo
scorer?
Anthony. Yeah, the leading scorer for Denver was Carmelo Anthony.
Hey, Joe, when I'm assuming you told people that you were from New York and you were a Knicks fan.
I had my Knicks shirt on. Shannon had Knicks stuff on.
Well, of course they knew. They had.
What was the I don't know, oddest, funniest, worst thing somebody said to you? I'm sure that somebody said something. No.
Oh, they were so Jericho Sims was playing, right? And they're like, who the fuck is that jacked motherfucker out there?
Yo, and he's huge too.
Yo, so actually I can actually segue this into actual Knicks analysis too. they're like, who's that Jax motherfucker out there? We thought Obi was, and Julius just looked like they went to the weight room. I'm like, oh, that's Jericho Simps. He could probably bench press you and I at the same time, honestly. And he was like, and the guy was bigger than me. And he was like, yeah, dude, probably. That dude's arms are gigantic for a basketball player. And then not 2 minutes later in real life time, 2 minutes later, there's just the Nuggets miss a three, and Jericho is in perfect position to get the rebound, and Monte Morris just skirts past him and gets a layup out of it without boxing out. And they were like, "Does he always do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why he doesn't play, because no matter how big he is, he doesn't know how to box out. It's like the weirdest thing. He can jump over anyone in this room that's not Obi Toppin, but he doesn't know how to box out with his arms of steel. It's the wildest thing about our." One of the wildest things about the Knicks is that Jericho Sims doesn't get minutes because he doesn't know how to box out, even though he looks like he could deck anyone that tried to get by him. So that was it. That was the craziest thing that someone said to me.
Was about Jericho Sims. Yeah, he's huge, man. He really is big.
Jacked.
Did you get any animosity? Because I know, we've been to many games. As somebody out of town comes to see the Knicks, we treat them like complete shit most of the time.
That's what I mean. So that's what I was saying about like the other team thing. Like they're like way better sports, and it probably is partly because they knew they were going to win. They all were like, as long as you're not the Lakers, we're nice to all other fan bases. I'm like, oh, nice.
That's telling.
Sick. Yeah.
What's wrong with the Lakers?
I mean, I think the Lakers just have dominated the West for so many years, right?
Yeah,
the Lakers are the most titles.
I know.
And yeah. So it's just like, and like going from fucking Kobe to LeBron over the past 20 years, like they're just like, oh, we lose to them all the time. Fuck those guys. It's like the same reason why we've hated Boston for like 40 years, right?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Man. So over a couple of days ago, not even a week ago, we seen Ash Moss quit Knicks Fan TV because Julito McCollum called in talking about,
I love how you say that dude's name, by the way. Julito McCollum.
Yeah.
You say it like there's something in your throat on the column.
Julito McCollum. So
I love that.
he calls in and he took what Ash said to heart as a Knicks fan. He said, so Ash Moss basically said, Knicks fans are an extreme level of toxic, and that keeps some players from coming here. Okay. True statement. We are crazy toxic. We're a lot to handle. All right. We're like that crazy ex-girlfriend,
Before you go too deep into it, I do also think that, and she didn't mention it as much, James Dolan also has a negative connotation to a lot of players for obvious reasons. She's never going to say that though.
She's never going to say that.
Not on Knicks Fan TV. That's for sure.
Oh no. But she's like ESPN. She's big time. Like she can't talk about the owner like that. That's not going to fly. Yeah. So I never expected that to come out her mouth ever. But yes, between you and me, of course, the ownership has something to do with it. That little table they make everybody sign their contracts on. So she said Knicks fans are extremely toxic. All right. So that keeps people from coming here, which I think is a true statement. Fine. But Julito, man, he took real, he took it to heart, and he said, he called in and basically defended all Knicks fans and said, some people are extreme, but the majority love you forever. Like, look at Carmelo. He still has fans in New York. So
dude, Jeremy Lin was good for a month and a half.
Exactly. So I think you take the good with the bad, but I do think we do have an extreme level of bad that can sometimes, be a vocal minority, right? So I thought they were both right. They both had a good take on it. They just weren't, they weren't meeting, but because of your experience in Denver, I think it's interesting. And I have experience. I've been to Philly. I've been to TD Garden. I've been to Staples, and that's about it. Oh, I've been to Smoothie King Center for the
good old Nolans.
Yeah, for New Orleans. And I will say,
by the way, funniest name for a sports arena. The Smoothie King Center is hilarious.
It's got a big picture of a smoothie on and everything. No, it does. It's got a little crown and everything.
I hope Vin pull that up when we're doing the podcast and you put on YouTube. Put up the little smoothie in the corner.
I'm just thinking of like a new Ghostbusters movie, and they'll have something drink out of it.
Smoothie King,
yeah, something.
The Smoothie King comes to life out of the arena.
But I'll say, as far as like toxic fans, definitely New York, Boston, Philly are up there for crazy toxic.
So to use Denver as an example, that's actually true in a major sense, because it's like percentages are a funny thing, right? You can
Right.
say that the COVID vaccine is like 90. These aren't real numbers. I'm not going to use politics. Please don't cut this, Vin. I'm just using like a fake example, entirely fake.
Don't even
The
use.
COVID
Don't even
vaccine
say
is
the. Don't even say the virus name. Just make up
a
something.
vaccine is 99% effective, right? And 1 million
Yeah.
people get it. That means 10,000 people died that the vaccine wasn't effective. 10,000 people sounds like a lot, right? But when you're like, oh, 1 million people got the shot, 99% survived. To be a Knicks fan, there's 8 million people in New York City, the 5 boroughs. There's like an extra 3 to 4 million within the metropolitan area of Westchester, Long Island, that part of Connecticut, and that
New
part of
Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
So there's 11.5 million people. The Knicks have like the highest rated money-wise sport team. I forget if it's in America, the world, at least America. They're worth a lot.
Don't even forget like France, Australia. There's fan bases out there and they spend money on merchandise and they make money.
Yeah.
Well, my point was saying that like there's like for there to be a toxic fan base, right? Let's say every single team, 15% of the fan base like is on Twitter, and then 1% of that Twitter fan base is toxic AF. For the Knicks, that means like there's 80,000, 100,000, I don't know the numbers, but a really, really high number of toxic AF people.
I got to jump in at this part.
The Nuggets would have like 5,000 toxic AF people talking.
Well, when you think so, social media, that's my little bag, right? Most of the time when you say a crazy take, that's the one that gets pushed through the air. So,
and that's just it.
And that's what you're seeing. And that's what you're reading.
That's what you're reading. Look at how the mainstream media treated the last month. I know we're all making memes. Berman relax, Berman calm down. There's a reason the players keep singling out Berman as opposed to anybody else. They're not talking about the fans. Like, yeah, he did the thumbs down. Okay. But that was in the heat of a moment in the middle of a game. He was getting booed and now he's like, shut up. And they went on a run. It was great. Like, no one's upset about that. He's not coming out and like saying, oh, the fans need to stop this or that. You know, if anything, I think he handles the attention of the fans really well, but it's the media.
Do you mean Berman or Julius handles the attention of the fans really well?
Julius handles the fans, I think.
Okay.
Very well.
I lost you there. I just want to make sure.
Fair. That's fair. But it's the stuff that Berman has been, and others too, just making clickbait articles, just like, oh, there's the possibility that the Knicks will trade so-and-so. And it's like, yeah, there's a possibility. We can trade everybody. It's like, you can sign me.
Us as a smaller brand.
Yeah.
Us as a smaller brand, 8,000 right on Instagram. Even us, as we know what's going to get shared. So even in this small realm, we know I'll make a controversial meme and I know you guys will send that to each other. But we don't represent fandom. So in the bigger aspect, you got guys on the next scale doing that same thing on a bigger scale. It can push a narrative.
So to use what you just said as well. So pushing a narrative and like the way news has worked since the dawn of radio and TV, negative publicity is what gets ratings. People like when people are mad, they go to Yelp. They're not happy and they go to Yelp, you know? Yeah. So if you're negative or mad about something, you post it and there's other people that are negative or mad about it. They're way more likely to retweet it or quote tweet it or get it out in the open than anyone is to be like, oh my God, they made a 3. I love a 3. Let's get a 3. Like, it's like, oh my God, they fucking suck. Let's get rid of our whole team. Yeah, they do suck. Angry mob mentality has always spread out. Positivity doesn't spread out nearly as much. That's why like social media, the news networks, it all works like this, which just says bad things about the human mentality overall, but that's where we're at. That's why the negativity of the New York fandom can spread up so high, get to players and affect them more than it does in other cities, was the point I was originally trying to make.
Yeah, I get you there. I definitely get you there. I mean, it's a lot to handle. And listen, since I've been, trying to form communities through the Knicks fandom and trying to meet new people and get new conversation and just get different perspectives, it is incredibly difficult to foster a positive environment. It's incredibly difficult because people it's hard to stay positive, especially about a team that you don't see going anywhere. So I get it. I get it as a Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan my entire life. I get it. I'm upset. I'm distraught. But you know what? That doesn't get me anywhere. That doesn't do anything for me. So for me, it's like, agreed. I trust Leon Rose. I trust Thibodaux. I trust Randall. I trust RJ. I trust everybody who's in our uniform to come and play and at least, put on put their most effort out there. So when I see that, I'm happy. So I get it. A lot of people are upset. Randall's not the leader. He's not fulfilling his potential. He's not, showing good body language, whatever people want to say. But listen, you're not Randall. You're not on the court that day. You don't know what happened. Like some days you just start off bad and you just have a bad day.
Yeah.
And then for them, it translates to a poor performance on the court, a bad media session after the game. It just keeps rippling and rippling. And I have the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm able to step away. So when I was saying like, I want to make communities like that, I've had to like lower my engagement on Reddit, for instance, like 135,000 members on the subreddit and a lot of toxic voices, a lot of people just saying whatever they want to say. And you just got to pull it back, So
negativity does two things. One, it spreads the most. And two, the people that want to be negative usually are the loudest.
Exactly. So listen, like, and if we're actually putting Randall in this context, we are very positive for him on the court with some booing, but I think everybody gets booing when they play poorly. But the stuff on Instagram, like with his wife and stuff, like, y'all, you got to pull that back. Like that's what Ashley Moss is talking about, is those pointed comments, pointed attacks on social media. But that's like, Julito was saying, just pull yourself out of it. Stop engaging. Stop giving those people a voice, a platform where they can touch you. They can talk to you. Cause I'll tell you what, even if we boo you in the Garden, I paid for my ticket to be there. And if they're not kicking me out, I can boo all I want. And if you're not playing what I think is acceptable basketball, people are going to boo. And listen, I've heckled fans in our arena. I've booed players in our arena that are our own players. I've yelled at Dolan in our arena. And this is before
before Oakley.
Exactly. Yes. This was before that. So I would never do that now because I don't want to get banned.
That was the last one that Dolan could take, and then Oakley happened. So technically,
dude, you got the second to last one. You got the second to last ever James Dolan heckle.
So listen, like, and I was there for those. I hate Dolan, sell the team, all those chants, like those guys with the paper bags. Like, I get it. There's a good way to express your despair. And a lot of the time we pointed at players and coaches, and it's not them that are doing this. It's like, there's only so much someone can take. So she was just saying, people might avoid us because of the fans. But listen, I think a lot of people like us because of our fans, because of how passionate we are.
I kind of want to defend our fans in a sense that like, it's fun. Like it's fun to do this on Twitter and to say that's the thing about Twitter. You can have an impulsive thought and just put it out there. And that's exactly what it's for. So if you're anybody on Twitter taking what people say seriously, and I don't know, you got to just reevaluate what it is, because
it's happened to all of us before, though. I'm sure you've read something that got you really mad and then still at you. Like it happens to everyone. It's just it's just the heat of the moment kind of thing. I mean, you got someone at a bad time.
Like us as fans, this is our Netflix show. During the season, we watch this like an episode, and we have opinions about the characters within the show that we're watching. So,
but Vin, you gotta
remember they're real. I understand that.
So Euphoria, am I right?
No, you know what I'm saying? To me, this is
I meant the show Euphoria. I was making a joke.
It's a
every
show.
Season I watch this. I subscribe to the Knicks. So I'm sorry if I get passionate, or if anybody else gets passionate. We care.
Well, so to that end, I mean, I'm okay with it. And I think a lot of people are. I mean, like I said, I boo, I cheer. But you got to be okay with the fact that you might miss out on some free agents, might not come here because they want to be in a more relaxed environment. Well,
you know what? When we do win with the players who can make it through our nitty grittiness, it'll be that much sweeter.
Sanctify them. We raise these people up into heroes. Like Obi Toppin was getting his name chanted in the Denver Nuggets arena.
And he plays 12 minutes a game.
And he plays 12 minutes.
Like, so if that doesn't tell you that you can, in fact, not like be the best player in the world or play the most, but you can have a major positive impact in New York sports, I don't know what does.
And another thing about New York fans is we're fans of other players as well. Like we respect other players when they do well, and we will say,
Burt doesn't.
We'll say we want you on our team. Like we'll come up with these fantasy trade packages because we have
wait
players.
No.
Are you trying to segue into Russell Westbrook?
No.
Russell. I was. You got me.
I know. I saw it, asshole. No. That's why I'm the host.
Kobe's 62-point game in the Garden it's something that you're like, oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I loved it. It's Kobe Bryant. It's like seeing the best ever do it. Like, sorry we didn't get to have him. Grow up.
I can look back and be like, oh,
Same with the Jordan.
historic.
Same with the Jordan 50-pointer that was in the Garden. I think that was fantastic.
I get it. You don't want nobody to beat you at home at your house.
Listen,
New Yorkers got to see one of Kobe's best performances. That's a blessing.
that's
That is
true.
the blessing.
And in hindsight, when I look back historically, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great milestone. That is an epic, amazing thing that we got to see that in my lifetime. I got to see that live. And but I don't care, because in the moment when I'm watching it, I'm
You're
like,
mad.
this one guy is destroying my team. Like,
So you ever look back on all the Knicks seasons and you go, wow, how time has changed, how time has flown by, and how we didn't even want to watch the Knicks with like Langston Galloway, Lou Mudson, that squad. Like, were we really subscribing to the Knicks?
Dude, Ron Baker
And it
till I
seems
die.
like
man.
10 years ago, but realistically, that was like 5 years ago. Whatever. Like, so these flies by so fast. So me personally, if somebody does something amazing at the Garden, I'm appreciating the shit out of that. Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. also dope. Tim Hardaway
Why
Jr. was their
wouldn't
best
I?
player for
You're
like
bugging, Vin.
multiple
With
You're
handful of
bugging.
82 games in a season, something's going to happen that you don't
bruh,
like.
if LeBron James comes into the Garden tomorrow and scores 100 and breaks that record, I'm not celebrating.
I'm not celebrating, but I'm going to be like, holy shit, LeBron's best performance.
I'm not
happened at our
celebrating, but
house.
also if I'm there, I'm like, holy fuck, that was awesome to watch.
I guess, but
I'm not
against the
celebrating,
Knicks,
though.
Burt needs the keys to the city after this one, for real.
Do it to any other team. Go down to Charlotte and do it to Charlotte. Go down to Orlando, do it to the Magic. Like, don't do it against
Well,
us.
you know that there's something about visiting players where they all say they love it there.
We had the loudest.
bro.
It's great to not play for. It's great to play at. We had the loudest arena with the loudest fans. Like, to make them mad. Like, Trae Young generally seemed happier to make us mad than he did to make his own fans happy.
Yo,
Yeah, but how
and that's
exciting is it
something high.
now?
Which goes back to the whole natural human negativity thing that we have wrong as a whole species.
Well, now when Trae Young comes back to the Garden, we're looking at him like a villain. We're like, you better not. And then when he does, our fire burns even harder. And then it's part of the show.
No one wants to hear about you being harder, Vin. Calm down.
Oh, all right. Russell Westbrook.
I did it again.
We're not talking about Russ.
Burt,
I don't
so we're playing the Warriors tonight. And then after this, we have a rough tide.
I gotta go back to reality, Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So the trade deadline's over. We have Cam Reddish. We're not playing Cam Reddish. Alec Burks, here's 30 minutes for
what
you
are we
still.
gonna do tonight? RJ's not playing, bro.
RJ's not playing. We're going to lose by 14.
Is Noel still out? I think Noel is still out.
It's still going to be Taj and
Can I
Sims
get
the
an
5.
injury update if you guys know?
I think if there's ever a time for us to watch the Warriors go small, even without Draymond Green playing, it's going to be against Taj Gibson and Jericho Sims, who doesn't box out.
Did you watch that whole game last night?
Which one last night?
Warriors
Jazz? No, I turned it off after like the midway through the third quarter. They were down 91-68 or something.
Yeah, I turned it off too. But man,
I mean, if you're playing a back-to-back and one team is like the third best team in your conference and the other team is fucking 13th, then you're like, you know what? We're only supposed to go 1-1 anyway. Why don't we just wait for tomorrow?
Right? So I got no faith, man. Like and you know me, I normally say it's a win, but I got
So that's
no
what I mean.
faith.
You have no faith, but say you watch Steph Curry put up 70. Are you mad? But you had no faith in them winning anyway. So what does it matter if he's amazing or not?
It's in
It's in Golden State. It's at 10:30
I don't
tonight.
care. He can score 70.
So it's
there.
just at home. Okay, I got it. Now.
Yeah, it's just at home mostly. Like, I don't know. It hurts too. Like when it's against the Knicks in general, it hurts. But specifically, yeah, when it's in the Garden, it definitely hurts worse. Like, I'm definitely more annoyed that Kobe got 62. If you got 62 on the Knicks in Staples Center, that's just a good home game. But he
Right.
got 62 in the Garden on our floor against us, where we could definitely stop him from doing that. But apparently we couldn't though. So if he scores 72 in what's their stadium called now?
Golden State. I don't know. I don't remember the names of all the arenas. They're in
Nah.
Golden State though.
Steph
When
Curry
they're
Arena.
if he scores 70 something in Golden State, I don't care. He can have fun. with
Okay.
it.
That's fair. Just so at the time of this recording, we're 24-31. We're behind Washington in 11th at 24-29, who we 100% have to talk about after I read off the next couple teams. Atlanta is in 10th 26 and 28. So we're 2.5 back of 10th place, 3.5 back of 9th, which is Charlotte at 500. And then 6.5. Brooklyn's all the way down to 8th now, and we're 6.5 back, 5.5 back of them. We're not getting past that. So realistically, if we're gonna make a playoff of any sense, the play-in, we have to catch Washington, Atlanta, and Charlotte, or at least 2 of the 3 in order to actually get it.
Before you get into Washington, I got a question for you guys.
We can catch Charlotte, Wizards, all that.
Do you guys want, at this point right now, of course you want to, but would you be upset if we didn't make the playoffs?
No.
I've trained my whole life to have teams not make the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the beginning of the season, yeah, I wanted to make the playoffs. Like that was the goal, right? But now it's like, if we make the playoffs, great, but it's just going to be a first round exit. Like if we're being honest, like,
yeah, we're losing to whoever the number 1 seed is. We only really have a chance for the 8th seed at this point. We'd be going for the number 1 seed. The best case scenario would be if the number 1 seed became fucking Chicago, because I feel like we actually or Cleveland, because I feel like we match up with them the most. Miami, Milwaukee, and Philly all just have like teams that we don't match up with. Well, Philly, we have no way to cover Embiid. We could all pretend Mitchell Robinson's fantastic.
Does Philly
won't play the whole time?
Does Philly boost up? You think with Harden now they steal first place?
I think both Philly and Brooklyn play better once their guys actually get in the game.
I don't think the Nets are doing anything. I think Philly is going to be first place.
You say the Nets aren't doing anything. They're not doing anything. They have the highest odds again to win the title, which I understand is kind of skewed, obviously. But Kevin Durant hasn't been playing, and now their team is going to have Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and half of Kyrie Irving. So outside of them playing against Toronto, where Kyrie wouldn't play at all, I do think that they actually have a chance to make the finals still.
New York mask and vaccine mandates as of today for indoor businesses, I think, were suspended. So we could be seeing some more Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie might finally be able to play.
Yes.
After all this time.
Even with him, I'm not honestly like, I think they have more problems than just, personnel. I think
their problem is defense. Ben Simmons is the top 5 defensive player when he plays at his peak. So we'll find out.
He hasn't played all year. I mean, he's
that's what I mean. If he plays at his peak, he is. I'm not saying he's going to get there.
And I don't expect him to come back as good as he was. So
to talk about one trade, though, about one of the 3 teams
our favorite
catch
trade
between Atlanta, Charlotte, and Washington. It is also an ironic way, I feel like, my favorite trade. Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the East, baby, for Spencer Dinwiddie, who has played so poorly that his team didn't want him to play on their team anymore. And Davis Bertans, who literally played himself out of a lineup after getting 15 to 20 million a year, which if that's not the American dream, I don't know what is. Or Kristaps Porzingis in a 2nd round pick.
And they basically did a pick swap. Yeah, 2nd round pick. It's not a pick swap, but it's essentially a pick swap.
It's a 2nd round pick. It's whatever.
Yeah, but they sent one too, though. I thought Mavs sent a second.
Nah.
So they sent. Oh no.
Either way, Mavs sent one to Washington. Washington did not send one back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great trade for Washington. Definitely not something I expected from them. I didn't think Porzingis, like, you want to
upgrade Davis Bertans and what he's supposed to do into Porzingis is a major. Oh
upgrade. Yeah, that's good. But Mark Cuban probably couldn't find Porzingis, his brother, a good job for him. So had to move Porzingis, and now Washington's got to figure out a job for him. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's Washington D.C. I'm sure he could pretend to do some political
ambassador
landscape.
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll find something real cushy, huh?
Yeah. Exactly. Translator. That's always a great job.
Yeah.
You speak 2 languages. Here's $150K. How about that?
Exactly. Like just
damn, I really messed up, didn't I?
Keep them happy. Right?
Were there any reports previous to Porzingis being traded, or was this an out of dark that just happened?
There was no report.
Even if there was, we all follow. Do you guys follow Mavericks Twitter? No, we follow Knicks Twitter. So it's like the only guy that follows the Mavericks closer than any of us would follow outside of Windhorst, Woj, and Shams is Mark Stein, and he didn't say anything.
Did any reports come out afterwards that you guys saw in regards to why they decided to do that, or nothing?
Because they wanted to get rid of a contract, and they think it's easier to move. It's easier to move smaller bad contracts than it is to move a big bad contract. And Porzingis and Luka haven't truly wanted to play with each other since Porzingis got there.
Yeah,
there's a video I've been looking for so long, and it was an interview of Luka rookie year, and they said, "What is your goal in the NBA, and he said to dunk on Kristaps Porzingis.
That's hilarious.
And I cannot
that doesn't
find it.
show
So
you how much
any
he
of our
doesn't want to play
listeners,
with him.
if there's any of our listeners that can find that clip, I'll Venmo you $10.
There you go. You got $10 from Odell Beckham.
Sounds good.
Find the clip.
I've never seen that.
So between whatever the things Atlanta did, which they did do something else outside of get Kevin Knox. They did something in the last hour. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was nothing.
They
special.
got lost amongst all the other things. Between what Atlanta did, Charlotte having the fast gunning moving team they have, and Washington getting Kristaps and having Beal come back soon, and getting rid of Spencer Dinwiddie, who was tanking their team when he was playing. He was just not doing what you're supposed to do as a ball handler. Who do you think we can catch, and is there any real reason for the Knicks to try to catch him?
To catch somebody? What do you mean? Oh, in the standings?
Like as opposed to tanking, yeah. Like, do you think
I don't know, man. It might be an informal tank at this point, you know?
Yeah.
It really depends on our health. I think coming out of All-Star break will determine, what we're going to end up doing. I think if Rose is still not playing, probably tank. If Rose comes back, I think we could maybe catch, Atlanta or Charlotte.
Yeah.
Or Wizards even. I mean, I'm not even because Beal's out for the whole season.
Beal's out still for a while. Yeah, the whole year.
So yeah, I think we can catch Wizards for sure. I mean, even without Rose coming back 100%, we could probably catch the Wizards. But it's going to be difficult though. We're definitely going to have all hands on deck, like RJ has to bounce back from this ankle sprain. We're going to definitely need a lot, the same thing that Randall's been doing. We're going to need more of that. Yep. I would like to see Fournier and Burks playing well at the same time. That's my goal for 2022.
It's only like 1 or 2 blue moons a year, man. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah, but I'm with it. I really, hey, it could be tonight against Golden State. Imagine. It's
impossible. It's impossible for there to be a blue moon in February, but yeah, maybe. They're 30 days apart. They're the 30 days apart. That's
well, hey, we're gonna see it tonight. All right, I'm putting that good energy out there right now. Burks and Fournier versus the Golden State Warriors. All right, that's it. That's my take. Yeah.
And the Knicks are gonna lose 127 to 108, led by Evan Fournier with 29 points on 10 of 31 shooting.
I hate that you're right. That's the worst part. Like, I love that you're so realistic and grounded because I'm just up in the clouds like a Knicks homer till I die. So,
dude, optimism knows no bounds when it's done the right way. Realism
who's your
knows no joy.
Who's your sleeper bench pick to go off aside from a guy that doesn't play often to go off tonight to give us a performance, if any?
Sims gets 15.
I like that.
If you said 15 rebounds, I'd actually be ecstatic because that means he boxed out.
Yeah. No, 15 points and rebounds.
Nah, dude, you and I both know Taj is playing
and blocks.
Like 40 minutes.
And blocks, 15, 15, and 15. Triple-double in blocks.
Taj is going to get into foul trouble early, and we're going to see a lot of Sims.
That is very likely, actually. Maybe we get some Obi and Randall out of this.
Or...
I'm going with Obi getting a 15 point, 8 rebound, 3 assist game.
That's a fan favorite right there. That's a fan favorite call, Joe.
Is Grimes playing? I don't even know anymore. Mine is
no, I don't think so.
No?
Is he out still?
Out.
Jesus.
Oh, geez. Then Emmanuel Quickly is going to have a decent
Cam Reddish. Now is your time, buddy.
Emmanuel
if you can't do it now, then when?
Emmanuel Quickly's floaters. He's going to hit 3 beautiful floaters tonight and 2 threes. And
I hope Emmanuel Quickly just shakes Steph Curry's hand and then is able to shoot the way he did last year again.
Imagine that's all it takes.
Yeah, just some monster action.
You guys got to remember, the Knicks love to play to their competition, so we might see some guys do some incredible things against Golden State.
That's what I'm saying. Burks and Fournier going off.
Playing to their competition, it seems like, over the Western Conference road trip that we've been on, outside of the Denver game, which was a blowout basically from the second quarter. Playing up to our competition means having the lead at halftime and then just doing what they do in the third quarter, which is being the worst third quarter.
I'm saying more or less we play really shitty against teams we should beat.
If the NBA didn't have a third quarter and didn't have free throws, the Knicks would be top 10 right now.
I feel like if they didn't have to go to the locker room, just keep playing. I feel like something happens when
they
go to the locker room and they lose
stop
rhythm.
Halftime. Yeah.
Just keep it going. Run it through.
Yeah. Don't be pussies. You all get paid millions. Just play straight through.
And you'll really see then you'll really see the speed of those vets, man.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Taj will just foul out purposely to get out of the game. All right. Well, is there anything else we want to add before we get out of here? Jalen
Yeah,
Brunson,
absolutely.
if you're
but
not
I'm
a Knick,
allowed.
dude, no one wants Russell
Oh.
Westbrook. The Lakers don't want Russell Westbrook. No one wants Russell
Bruh.
Westbrook. It's like you and like a very obscure like Russell Westbrook apologists. Like his peak is past. It's okay to be past your prime when you're 33 years old and rely on athleticism. You don't have to be athletic anymore. You should have learned other shit. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well put, Joe. Very succinct
Thank you. And with that,
on that.
we're going to
note.
sign Jalen Brunson in the offseason to as much money as Fred VanVleet got. And that's going to be the end of the Big Knick Energy podcast. Burt, fantastic mullet, fantastic mustache. We're going to call you Eminem Burt from now on. Check out our sponsor, Empire Original Designs at jointheempire.com, the East Coast #1 challenge coin manufacturer, the home of challenge coins, lapels, pins, patches, keychains, bottle openers, and more. Mention our podcast, Big Knick Energy, via email for 5% off purchases. Once again, that's at jointheempire.com. I just remember I was supposed to call him Slicer the whole podcast. I fucked it up. Slicer, Modelo. Peace. Let's go, Knicks.